Welcome back to Hiking with Kathleen. This week, Shannon and I will be exploring Killbear Provincial Park. So we arrived here yesterday, went into the lovely town of Parry Sound and did some shopping for our groceries and any odds and sods that we needed. That's only 30 minutes away from the park, so what's really nice is we have great Wi-Fi or great cell service here at Killbear Provincial Park, which tends to rank a little bit more highly now in our book because we spent several days earlier in our trip without any cell signal at all. So we're going to continue to explore the park. Today we went to the Discovery Center, otherwise known as the Visitor Center, and that is something that we found was a thoroughly educational experience. I would encourage you, if you're coming to Killbear Provincial Park, that you go to the Visitor Center or the Discovery Center. Really great information on Massasauga rattlesnakes, which are found in this park, but there's isolated populations of them. But really good information to help you to know how to recognize them and also how to avoid seeing them or hurting them should you come across them. So stay with me and you'll see wonderful scenery from Killbear Provincial Park. Good morning. I'm out here in the morning. This is about our third morning at Killbear Provincial Park. I woke up about 25 minutes ago to the sound of a car alarm. That was at about 10 after 5. So my thought was that tends to be a bit of a universal sound if there's a bear in the campground. So the tactic you want to use when you are faced with seeing a bear is you want to remain calm, you want to have the opportunity to appear larger, make yourself look larger, or make noise. And the typical reaction is the bear will run off. And so they also advise that if the bear isn't going to run off, that you trigger your car alarm. Now, I have no idea if it really was a bear or if somebody just rolled over on their car alarm, the panic button. I don't know. I thought I'd come out here with my camera, but I'm also equipped with my bear spray. So I thought I'd come out here at the time in the morning when it's still nice and quiet. People aren't up and around. I've only seen 2 people, one sitting at his campsite, the other just a woman walking through the campground. So it's still a very nice quiet time. And I'm going to go on a hike today, so I'm going to bring you along. So I'm out here on the Twin Points Trail, and I'm first one out on the trail. There are boaters that are out on Georgian Bay, but I wanted to be able to hit the trails before other people do, just to see what kind of wildlife I might be able to find. So it's just before 8 o'clock this morning. So I've been awake since about 10 after 5, which is when I heard that car alarm go off. Whether or not it was a bear sighting and an attempt to scare it off, I don't know. But anyway, I'm carrying my bear spray just in case, because I am the only one out here. I'm the only one in the parking lot. So I'm excited. I'm looking forward to seeing what there is to see. And there are bugs out here, but they're not too bad yet. I've really been enjoying the hike this morning. Only passed actually another couple, and they had their child with them. So on this trail, there is the possibility of seeing snakes, and that's always my hope, to see those lesser understood animals, you know, coyotes, snakes, things like that, that I tend to gravitate to in order to be able to film them for you. Anyway, I didn't see any snakes, but because I know that Massasauga rattlesnakes exist here in the park, what I did today is I've been wearing my running shoes around the site and out on the rocks of the shore of Georgian Bay, very close to our campsite. But in this particular case, I wore my hiking boots to give myself a little extra protection around the ankle in case I inadvertently were to step on a Massasauga rattlesnake. They have them, they have fox snakes, I think they even have hognose snakes. So a real cool assortment. I always hope that I'll see a snake to be able to film it for you. But turns out all I got was a little bird action. And actually I saw red squirrels. I also saw some deer pellets. When I was driving to this trail this morning, I saw a white-tailed deer, so they're pretty common in here. But they really well mark their trails. It's largely made up of rocks. So instead of spray painting them, what they have is they have orange pylons to help guide you back and make sure that you don't lose sight of your trail. When the trail is marked in the forest, there's a yellow tag on the tree or yellow on the signpost that they, put into the ground. So anyway, very little chance of getting lost in here, and a really cool environment. So I hope you enjoyed that. The staff at the park does a really good job of trying to protect the snake population and other reptiles and amphibians that might try to wander through from the woods out onto one of the park roads. So they and their volunteers put up this snake fence. And then they do a really good job of educating people. When people go to the Discovery Center and they learn about Massasauga rattlesnakes and the fact that they use their venom because of the kind of prey they seek, which is mammals. And mammals are hard for them to handle, of course, because Massasauga rattlesnakes are not very large. And the injection of venom into the mammal paralyzes the mammal so that the Massasauga rattlesnake has a much better chance of being able to swallow it, because remember, snakes are operating with no arms, no legs, so they have to be able to swallow their prey whole. And so that's the strategy they use. Other snakes might be inclined to eat invertebrates, or they might be inclined to eat reptiles and amphibians that are smaller than themselves. But those that eat mammals tend to have a harder time. Milk snakes would be, an example that they can handle eating small mammals without having to inject venom. But the only poisonous snake that we have in Ontario is the Massasauga rattlesnake, and there's not a great population. There aren't a lot of them left. So we just finished our dinner, and the fire ban has been lifted today, July 11th, 2023. So that applies to Killbear Provincial Park and surrounding area, but I don't know how far north or west it goes. Anyway, we're out here to catch the sunset today. They call these sunset rocks. So anyway, we're looking forward to being able to see that in a short while. I'm walking along a footpath or a bicycle path that is aligned with the main road of the park, and I'm walking up to the lookout trail from our campground, which is Georgian Campground. With these boardwalks, Killbear does an excellent job of preserving the wetland. That's the area that is most vulnerable to damage with people walking through it or pets walking through it. So this is why there's an extensive network of wooden boardwalks. So it helps to keep us on the pathway so we can appreciate everything. And don't let my apparel today kid you. It is buggy in here. I should have worn my bug shirt, but I figured, okay, we're going to a lookout, so I figured it'd be high up. This is beautiful. This is a beautiful pathway to get through to the lookout that lies ahead on this 3.5 kilometer loop. This is worth the bugs. When you see acorns on the ground, that confirms the presence of oak trees. That's a very important food source. Acorns will grow into new trees. That's the seed of an oak tree. Deer depend on that, squirrels, and I'm sure many other animals depend on acorns. So I'm not far from where I saw that grouse. And what was really cool is it exhibited its classic predator avoidance technique. It stood very, very still. So when I saw it, it didn't move. And then there was a father that came up with two small boys. They were coming up the trail behind me. So I just motioned because I wanted them to be able to see it. But if they would approach quietly, it wouldn't frighten it away. And so the father got the kids' attention and they came up and both boys had a chance to see it and realize it was a grouse. So that was really cool. It's like one of those teachable moments where you get to see animals that haven't been planted, that are right there in the environment, that you're just walking by, in most cases without us even noticing them. So anyway, the grouse eventually, after they left, it stood up nice and tall and figured, okay, I got to find a way out of here because this one here is not leaving. So then it just walked past me and then it ran, as they often do, into the understory. So anyway, that was a really cool experience. Well, after enjoying that beautiful view of Georgian Bay, this results in a loop. So the loop started back there. Now it's nicely shaded again, because otherwise you're out in the open. And it is a bright sunny day, which it wasn't when I started. It was overcast. And now I'm heading back on the second half of this trail. When I started the trail this morning at about 8:30, there was only one car. This parking lot is filled right up. And so right now, it's 11:15. So just know, if you ever plan to walk this trail, earlier is better than later. And also it does get a bit warm, but I covered up mostly because of the bugs. They still get around your face and your hands and stuff. But yeah, it's worth covering up on this trail. So as for a bit of a summary of what we did today. Today is our second last day at Killbear. Tomorrow is our last day, but it's going to be a bit of a rain day. So we're just taking advantage of the wonderful weather. I know right now it's overcast, but it was a wonderful day today. So I started off the day by going to the Lookout Trail, went for a 3-hour hike along that trail. That was wonderful. Shannon and I went down and sat out on the rocks and just listened to our respective audiobooks. I ended up meeting a couple. Shannon came back to the trailer for something, and I ended up meeting a couple, Pam and Nick. And Pam is an artist. So once Shannon got back, the two of them had a chance, Shannon and Pam had a chance to talk about the fact that they're both artists and they both use acrylic techniques as well as watercolor. So anyway, so that was a really interesting discussion. And so following that, Shannon and I went up to the Lighthouse Trail. It's only a ½ kilometer long, and we had a chance to see what Shannon calls the light pole, because it wasn't really like a lighthouse. There is a door, there is a space for a person to go up, but there's basically just a light at the top. And so anyway, so we did that trail, and then we picked up some wood, and we are having a bonfire. This is the first time in this whole camping trip, which has been almost a month. By the time we finish and get back home on Friday, it'll have been about 3.5 weeks. So this is our first bonfire because the fire ban was only lifted yesterday. So we're really excited about that. As for dinner this evening, we're cooking up some peppers. They're just sweet peppers in order to pretty it up. I'm having a couple of spicy sausages. And Shannon is having ground turkey. Once this cooks up, she's going to cut it up and she's going to make some tacos for herself. So it's a simple meal. That's what we're going to have because it's bonfire night. Tea time. Cheers. Tea time. That's it. Thanks a lot for joining us today. If you stay right to the end of this video, you'll be able to see links for the entire camping trip when we left southwestern Ontario all the way up to Sleeping Giant, and now in a couple of days we're going to be on our way back to southwestern Ontario. But this wraps up the Killbear video, and if you stay to the end, you'll have a chance to see the different watercolor paintings that Shannon has created that are of each one of the provincial parks we've been to, I think with the exception of Nays at this point. Is that fair to say?
Yes.
Okay, so thanks a lot for joining us. See you next Tuesday morning. Bye for now.